Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So it has been a while since I have showed my face on this channel. I didn't plan to be gone for like a month. It kind of just happened. If you've recently subscribed, thank you for subscribing. I don't normally take a month off of YouTube. I normally try to get like 1 to 2 videos up per week, but I don't think I filmed since August. Like the last video that I filmed, which was my reading vlog, I filmed, like I did my intro for that video in August. So I don't think I filmed through all of September or October, and we're now currently in November, which just feels really odd to me. This year has just flown by. I know that a few of you guys were messaging me on when I was going to come back and what had been going on and stuff, so I thought I would just ask you guys for some questions on my Instagram, because I feel like that will be the easiest way to just address everything that's been happening. There have been some big changes that I've gone through recently. I thought I would just share with you guys, kind of update you guys on. I feel like I have a lot to update you guys on, so I do apologize if this video is really long. Thank you to everyone who sent in questions on my Instagram. If you guys do want to be a part of any future Q&As, I always post on my Instagram on my story, which is just the same name as my YouTube name, so just Little Miss Obsessed. I do plan to be back now, hopefully. Fingers crossed if nothing else crazy happens. I'm gonna go with this question first, which is just simply, how are you? I'm doing good. Recently, yeah, there's just been so much that's been going on. It's felt really overwhelming. I've also just been really burnt out. Today I feel the best that I have felt in a while. Where have you been? Life update, please. In short, over the past couple of months, I have just been super duper busy. August was a really busy month for me, so I obviously like pre-film a whole heap of videos. So through August I was uploading like a lot of my pre-filmed videos. So basically it started off with me doing a couple of courses for church 2 nights a week. So basically my schedule was looking like this. I was working 5 days a week. One of those nights on that week I would have Bible study. The next night was my grocery night. The following night was a night that was free at home. Another one of those nights I was doing a course for church. Then it was the weekend. I have church on a Sunday, obviously, and then on a Monday night I was also doing another course for church. So I only really had like Thursday and Saturday night free. I try not to plan a whole heap of like things on a Sunday, because I've really been trying to just have some sort of Sabbath, where, if you don't know what a Sabbath is, basically I'm Christian, and so a Sabbath basically is where you just take like a day of rest. You can have a Sabbath if you're not Christian. It's just a Christian concept that has originated from the 10 Commandments. Work has just been really overwhelming as well. I'm a manager at work, so I have a lot of responsibility, and so that has been really full on, and so I was getting really exhausted. My hours have also changed at work, so I've been doing more and more on my own, so I've been like really exhausted from work. So I really just haven't had a lot of time to just sit down and film, nor have I actually had a lot of energy to sit and edit, because when I edit videos they take at minimum 2.5 hours to edit, and some nights I just don't have that time. Basically it's also hard to like factor in time to spend with my husband, time to factor in with my friends, and so I've just been really struggling, and my schedule has been super busy. Also, all throughout August, September and October I have had a lot of social events on. I've had some bridal showers, I've had some weddings, I've just had a lot going on, as well as like the courses for church 2 nights a week, which have been really good. One of them was on like mental health and how to look at that from a Christian point of view, and the other one was on leadership. So obviously I'm a manager at work, so it was really helpful, and I really wanted to go to both of those courses. We've also had a friend come stay with us for like 4 days in October, and also all through October we had my sister Anya staying with us in our house. So she was sleeping in this bed here for a month. So I also didn't film all through October because my sister was staying in this room, and she also hadn't really been up to Auckland, so a lot of the time we were just taking her out and doing stuff, which I didn't want to film because a lot of them I have filmed before on my channel. Like I really just wanted to like enjoy being in the moment with my sister and like actually spending some quality time without pulling out a camera and having that out basically. We have also had a death in the family, which has taken up a lot of like mental capacity. We basically have travelled to Taranaki twice. Both of them have kind of been somewhat unplanned. So through October we had a family member who was in hospital, and basically I've posted about this on my Instagram, so like if you've been on my Instagram recently you would have seen all of this. It was on Phil's side of the family. I was about to go to work and Phil, his mum had texted to say, hey, we have a family member who is in hospital, we don't know whether they have days or hours left to live. And we're like, oh, like that's not great. Phil's mum is also like kind of in Taranaki by herself. Phil's dad and stepmom live over there, but they're not like, I mean they're civil but they don't like hang out. A lot of Phil's family, like his mum's family, are in Australia, so there's really only like Phil and I that she's got, and this other family member as well. Yeah, we basically got told that, and I was like, okay, well, like I was actually running out the door, so I was like, okay, I've got to go to work. Keep in mind at this point we also had my sister staying with us. We had just finished, well, I had just finished the 2 courses for church. We had just had our friend leave who was staying with us, and I also have a lot of work things going on in the back of my mind, which I will get to. So just having this on top of it, I just got to work and I broke down, and I could not do it. And then Phil obviously came over to work, and I was basically like, Phil, it's your call. If we want to go, we'll go. If not, we'll stay here and we'll just see how this family member goes, because obviously like if they were going to pass away we wanted to be able to say goodbye basically. And so Phil came into my work like half an hour after I'd started, and he's like, hey, we're gonna go. And so I told my manager was good. She's like, yeah, go, be with your family, do what you need to do. I left. We obviously came home, packed up the stuff that we needed to take. Obviously my sister was with us as well, so we were like, get dressed, pack a bag, like we're going to Taranaki. So we drove to Taranaki. The family member was in hospital at this point. They had been in hospital since Sunday, but it had gotten to the point where like they weren't sure if he was going to make it. So we were there for like the whole of like Thursday, just like in the hospital the whole of the afternoon. We left the hospital at like 7:30 I think, and we had got to Taranaki at like 1. So we'd been in the hospital for like that long amount of time, and then the next day the family member passed away in the morning. So we obviously went back to the hospital on Friday morning, hung out with Phil's mum for a bit, and then we drove back to Auckland. I took the rest of the week off work, same with Phil, and so it was just a lot. So that was the first trip, and that was like the beginning of October. And then actually just over this past weekend we've had the funeral, or like the memorial, for this family member. So we drove down to Taranaki on Thursday night, so I did work. We got to Taranaki at like 1 AM, like it was ridiculous. Then we had the memorial the next day at 4, and then we drove back Friday night. So we left Taranaki at 6:30 and we got back to Auckland at 1 AM. I was meant to be working on the Saturday, but I woke up and I was exhausted, like so exhausted, to the point, this is a bit TMI, but to the point where I couldn't even keep food down. Like my body was that exhausted. I'm really happy we also didn't crash on the way home, because Phil was driving the whole way because I was knackered. Even he was like starting to get really tired, but we also just had no other option because I was expected at work, and obviously being a manager it's really hard. I basically just slept the entire day. Like I have been so exhausted. I think I was also stressed, like just small things. I was also like behind in all of my housework, so like that was in the back of my mind, hoping that these next couple of months are going to be a bit more chill. Obviously we are now in the lead up to Christmas, so Christmas is always a crazy time of the year, but hopefully in terms of my calendar there will be less things on. The other thing that I actually might address in this question, because there's not really a question that will answer this very well. I'm kind of scared to admit this online, not gonna lie. I just want to say at this point, I apologize if I have not told you this in person, because like if I know you personally, I have only been allowed to tell people this week about this. I have found out that basically halfway through August I found out that my store is closing. The lease for the place that I currently work at expires in December, and they have decided that they are not going to renew it. Basically, since COVID, people are shopping differently, people aren't spending as much money, and the store that I work in is not making enough money to sustain all of the bills that we have. Basically, it is not a fault of me or my manager and our leadership. It is just the way that the economy is working in the location that we are. So basically that means from December, so from December the 11th, I am basically being made redundant. The last day that my store is open is the 2nd of December. Then we pack up on the 4th of December. And then from the 5th of December, my store is no longer open, but I am still technically employed with the company, and I either have to take annual leave or the company has to move me around and find work for me, basically, until the following week on the 11th, which is when I'm officially made redundant. So that has also been a big thing that I have been dealing with on top of everything else. It's also trying to figure out where on earth I'm supposed to be next year, what my life is going to look like. I had kind of been thinking through if I wanted to be at the same job that I'm currently in since about March, I think. Like, I have really enjoyed being an assistant manager. I'm really grateful for the position and the opportunity that I've had, because I've wanted to be an assistant manager for a really long time in the company, and I do enjoy it. But I think because of the fact that the store is closing, we have had a lot of sick calls, so I've worked a lot on my own. I have also found it really hard because I've cut hours for our part-timers, which means I am left to do more hours, and I also feel like a lot of the big tasks I've been left to do by myself because I am there the most often, because everyone else's hours are cutting down because we're shutting. So that has been really hard. So I have been leaving work exhausted to the point where I feel like I have hit burnout multiple times, and I've just not taken a rest because of it. And so that's also why YouTube has taken a bit of a backseat, is because I've honestly just not had the energy. I think I've just felt really disheartened, and I just feel like I've been left alone. I've also just been trying to wrestle with what on earth do I do next year. So I could move around in the company, yes, but I can't move to another assistant manager role just because a lot of the other ones involve working Sundays, and obviously I can't work Sundays because I go to church on Sundays. I serve in the preschool team on Sunday mornings. I've also been helping serving in a course that church is running as of right now, which is going for like 4 weeks. So we've just had week 2. I would either have to jump to a higher position, which I don't want to jump to because then it affects too much into my personal life and my time outside of work, and I really like to try and keep work and my home life and like YouTube and stuff separate so that I actually have time to myself, or I'd have to step down into another role. But then I also have been thinking through, and I have been working full-time since I was 18. Yes, I was studying hairdressing for a little bit, but I was also working full-time through studying hairdressing, so it doesn't really feel like I've been studying. Phil has also been really good at like helping me through all of this. It's not like he's just completely left me out to dry and left me to do everything around the house. He's definitely been helping out with doing a lot of the cooking and cleaning and stuff like that, because I've just quite frankly been too exhausted. I don't know, it's not quite the direction that I had in mind for next year, but I also wanted some guidance as to what next year is going to look like for me. So that has been a big headache, quite frankly. Do I work? Do I study? Do I do something else? Like, I obviously need to be able to pay my bills as well, so that's a factor. Phil and I also want kids, and so it's like, it's just been a lot to think through, and I don't fully know how everything is going to work. And again, it's been so difficult not to tell people and not to update you guys as well. Like, I've been wanting to update you guys for so long about all of this, and I've just not been able to because it's been confidential. I haven't even been able to tell like my close friends. I was allowed to tell my family, and I was allowed to tell Phil. So Phil was actually in the meeting with me, who is my husband, by the way. He was in the meeting with me when I found out. I had a sneaky suspicion it was coming. It's been a lot, and it's been really difficult that I've not been able to tell people. So from this past week, I've got the okay to be able to tell people, which I'm so thankful for, because now it just feels like a weight has lifted. Because I always have people asking me like, oh, how's work going, and like, oh, like, if work's quiet, do you think you'll move to like a busier location, do you think you'll still do management, blah blah blah. And I've just not been able to say, and it's been so hard having those conversations and trying to keep like a face on, basically. I feel really blessed. I do have a lot of annual leave stored up, so my plan basically I'm not sure about the week that we're closing. I'm still wrestling through if I want to work it or if I want to just take annual leave, but basically I have enough annual leave stored up to get me through to the end of December being unemployed basically, which I am actually really looking forward to, because I feel like this is the rest that I really need. I also have a lot of like home projects that I want to do that I've just not had the time to do, so I'm really hoping to get some of those done. I've also been wrestling through what December looks like in terms of content. Do I do Vlogmas? Do I do Vlogmas weeks and just do like a week in my life but make it Christmassy and be able to edit that? Like, I really just genuinely don't know. So I've just been trying to think about what that looks like, because I obviously don't want to burn myself out again, and Vlogmas does take a lot of energy and effort. That's basically where I'm at. In terms of next year, I'll get into some of the other questions that will kind of allow me to explain what is happening next year. So I got a couple of questions in regards to study, because I have mentioned in the past that I have wanted to study. Alright, hopefully I'm in kind of the same position. My battery just died, so I've just changed it over to my other one. Are you still planning on studying? You mentioned it prior to moving to Auckland. And then, do you want to study? Yes, I do want to study. And basically, being told that I'm being made redundant has kind of forced me to look at studying as an option. It's ideally not what I had planned for next year. It seems to be the way that the Lord is taking me, so I am just trusting his direction here. And so I have applied to uni and I have got into uni. I know you guys are all going to want to know what course, so I'm going to tell you. I'm a little bit scared because I know that it's going to be like a really intense course and I really hope I can do it. But I have applied for law. I'm very excited. I think it is very interesting. My sister's boyfriend studied law. I'm not sure if he's still studying, and he sent me some stuff to read over and it's really interesting. So I'm gonna be a law student next year. In terms of what that looks like with YouTube, I don't know. Quite frankly, I still want to do YouTube, but obviously my priority is going to be my study. I would also like to work part-time alongside my study. I just need to sort out my financial situation to see what hours I can actually do, what I'm allowed to do in terms of study link, and also like if I even need to work part-time. So my husband works full-time. He has actually just got a new job as well, so he will be earning more than what he earns currently, which is helpful as well. That's really good timing. He found that out last week that he got accepted for that job, so that's really cool. I also found out last week that I got accepted into uni, which is also why I've been like wanting to update you guys, because I've like, now it's been confirmed, whereas before it was like, I've applied but I don't know if I'm going to get in. It is a 4-year-long degree. I don't know if I'm going to do it full-time the whole time, or if I'm going to drop to part-time if Phil and I want to have kids. And I know I'm going to get a lot of questions about like, why are you like having kids when you study? You should just wait, blah blah blah. Basically, kids have always been really important to Phil and I. We have always wanted children. Another thing I didn't actually touch on in the life updates, which I'll address now, is that a couple of my family members, alongside this family member who has now passed away, their health has been so up and down. Like, my mum has been in and out of hospital, my sister has been in and out of hospital with health related things, and both of them have been quite serious. And so Phil and I, who's my husband, we don't want to wait too long to have kids, because we want our families to have as much time with our kids as possible. It is really important to Phil and I to have kids sooner rather than later for that particular reason. Yeah, I'm gonna try and make it work. I know that I have a really good support system, so I know that I'll be fine. So in terms of like next year, like I do want to do some like uni related videos. That's kind of my plan. So my course starts in February. I still have no idea what I'm doing through January, so please no questions about that, because I still don't know. As of right now, my answer is I genuinely have no idea. I'm kind of just gonna take some time off to relax in December, get some house things sorted so that I can go into next year fully ready to just jump straight into uni. I also feel like this year especially, I have just been stretched so thin. with the hours that I've been working, also the travel time, because I don't work near where I live. I have to travel, and normally it takes me about 40 minutes to an hour, and that's one way. So with all the commitments with church and just like all the social events and things that I've been invited to and all the courses I've been doing, I obviously like want to like hang out with my husband and hang out with my friends and do YouTube, and it's just been a big juggle that I don't think I have done very well. I'm really excited next year. Obviously like study will be a big thing, and I don't doubt that it's going to take up a lot of time, but I'm really excited to just really properly sit down, plan my study times, plan my relax times, and plan my other like hobbies and seeing my friends and stuff like that. So I got a question about my 2024 goals. So I will do a video that I always do at the beginning of January where I talk through all of my goals for 2024, because I haven't really thought about them yet, to be honest. My brain has been so consumed with everything that I've just spitballed to you that I haven't even thought about next year. I've barely even thought about Christmas, and that is saying something for me, because you guys all know how excited I get about Christmas. So that video will be coming in the new year, so stay tuned for that. Do you think it's important to own your own home prior to having kids? So my answer in short for this is no. I want to delve into this a little bit more. Firstly, when I am looking at what the Bible says in regards to the situation you should be in to have kids, all the Bible talks about is that you should be married. The Bible doesn't say you must be married and own a house. And following on from that, I live in Auckland, which is the most expensive place to live in New Zealand, and houses are ridiculously expensive up here. Phil and I are saving for a house. It's not going to be anytime soon. It will be like in the future at some point. I'm not in a rush to own a house. I'm quite happy renting at the moment. So is Phil. We really like the place that we rent at the moment. It's really big for an Auckland flat. The rent is really good, considering it is an Auckland flat and the area that we live in. And also, we also are surrounded by a lot of families at church who have multiple kids and are still renting, and they're doing just fine. Like most of the people that we know personally don't own their own home. If they can do it, then I don't doubt that Phil and I can do it. I think it's more feasible if you're in other parts of New Zealand where it's less expensive to buy a house before having kids, and if you can do it, like absolutely go for it. But for Phil and I, it's just not something that we are going to be able to do as of right now. And for me, like, I need to weigh up what is more important to me personally, owning a house or having a family. And my family is more important to me than owning a house. Do you see your family often? Yes and no. It changes depending on the years. I've seen my family 4 times this year. So my family have obviously been up to Auckland twice. Obviously my sister lived with us for a month. My other sister, who's in the middle of me and the one that was staying here, Shelby, I've only seen her twice this year, but she comes up to Auckland a lot for work, possibly 3 times actually. So I've seen her quite a bit. I would like to go down and see her more. And then in terms of Phil's family, I think we've seen them about 3 times. So we try and see our families often. Someone said, I hope you're doing okay. Thank you. I am doing a lot better now than I was. I'm hoping life is starting to be on the incline rather than the decline. I got a question asking if Phil and I had broken up, and that's why I'd been off YouTube for so long. No, Phil and I have not broken up. We're still married, still happily married. A lot of people also thought I was pregnant, which I can confirm I am not pregnant, not yet. Yeah, have you been at work much lately? Yes, I have been working a lot. Probably too much, to be honest, where I just feel like a lot of my time has been spent working, which is not a bad thing, but I'm also just like tired and burnt out from work. So if that doesn't show how much I've been working, I don't know what does. How could you afford to be gone off YouTube for so long? Did you not need an income? So I don't actually earn from YouTube at all. YouTube I do purely because I enjoy it, and I like I've just spoken about, I have a full-time job outside of YouTube. So I do my full-time job 5 days a week. If I'm filming, like today, I've got like multiple videos I need to film. That is going to basically be another work day. So basically this week for me, I'm working like 6 days. It's just one of these days I don't get paid for because it's YouTube stuff. If YouTube eventually earned me some things, that would be nice, but I also don't know if I would do it just on its own because it's very like up and down, and I personally really like consistency. Will you post more since you've been gone so long? I still don't know what my schedule is going to look like. As of right now, I would like to try and get up 1 video per week, but we'll see how we go. It was 2 for a while, but then I had to drop down because I just didn't have the time at all. I'm hoping through December I can post more content, but we'll see. It just depends what my weeks look like, really. But I want to try and get back to at least once a week. Do you still live at your same house? Yes, I do. That has not changed. I'm really thankful that has not changed. I got a question asking, do you plan to ever write your own book? As of right now, no. I did want to when I was younger, but as of right now, I'm happy just reading other people's books. My sister asks, when are you coming to Wellington? Hopefully in the new year. I want to do a trip to Wellington at least once a year, at least, to go and see my sister. And I really enjoyed the last time I went. I did vlog the last time I went, so if you want to watch that, I'll leave that video down below. And then the last question that I will answer for this video is, do you want to travel overseas, and if so, where? So I'm not in a rush to travel overseas. I'm very much a homebody. The thought of going overseas kind of terrifies me a little bit. I think I would like to travel to Raro because it's like a very small distance away. You can still like use New Zealand dollars there. It's a very small island. I think I would like to travel there at some point. I really want to travel to Australia, very close to Australia here in New Zealand, and also my husband's family, some of his family live over in Australia who couldn't come to our wedding, so I would like to see them and meet them. And also just because I've never been overseas. I did want it to be something that happened this year, but just with everything else that's been going on, we've just not been able to. And then I think I would like to visit London at some point, but again, I'm not in a rush. Phil and I have also thought about just traveling when we have kids, which I know will be a bit more expensive. However, Phil traveled a lot as a child and really enjoyed it, and I never traveled at all as a kid, and so we've talked about potentially giving our kids the same experience that Phil had, getting to see them explore things as well as like Phil and I. So again, it might be a bit more expensive, but I'm willing to wait to be able to save more to take my kids, if that makes sense. So there we go, guys. Those are all the questions that I'm going to answer for this video. Hopefully this has been helpful, and you guys can kind of see where I'm at as of right now and how crazy life has been for me. If you guys have any other follow-up questions, feel free to drop them down in the comments. If you guys would also like to see like an updated couples Q&A with Phil, let me know as well. Yeah, I do plan to hopefully be back now to at least 1 video a week. I also feel like I'd been stuck in a rut for a really long time where like I play the comparison game a lot, where I'm like, oh, my videos aren't as good as this person's and my thumbnails aren't as good, and so I'd normally like shut down and I just won't do it. But I know that comparison is really unhealthy. I know that everyone is different and everyone has their own journey on here and like things like that, so I've also just been finding that very mentally hard. I also just feel like recently I've just run out of ideas on like what to do because I feel like I've just been stuck, but I feel like now I'm kind of like getting into a bit more of a rhythm again, and I'm like having the love for YouTube that I once had again. So yeah, hopefully I'll be back for longer this time. Basically, I think all caught up now. If there's anything else I've missed, I'll obviously have written it on the screen. If you guys enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, turn on notifications if you haven't already, and make sure to check out my social media. It's always linked down below in the description box. I think that is everything. So I shall see you guys in my next video. Bye.